What if one morning, satellites discovered something impossible? The Atlantic Ocean was gone. No waves. No ships. No endless blue horizon. Just an enormous empty basin stretching between North America, South America, Europe, and Africa. It sounds like science fiction. But if it happened, the consequences would change our planet forever. The Atlantic Ocean covers about 20% of Earth's surface. If it suddenly disappeared, the first thing we would see is the hidden landscape beneath it. A gigantic underwater mountain chain called the Mid-Atlantic Ridge would rise like a scar across the planet. Thousands of volcanoes line this ridge where tectonic plates slowly pull apart. Massive abyssal plains would stretch for thousands of kilometers. And deep trenches would appear where sunlight has never reached. For the first time in human history, we would see the true shape of the ocean floor. Without water, the Atlantic Basin would become the largest canyon system on Earth. Some areas would be 5.000 to 8.000 meters below sea level. Standing at the former coastline would feel like looking down into a planetary abyss. Imagine standing on the cliffs of Portugal and seeing a desert valley thousands of meters deep stretching all the way to Brazil. Entire continental shelves would become massive plateaus. Former islands would turn into mountain peaks rising from the basin floor. The Atlantic Ocean is not just water. It is one of the engines that regulates Earth's climate. Warm ocean currents like the Gulf Stream carry heat from the tropics to Europe. Without the Atlantic, this current would vanish. Western Europe could become dramatically colder. Cities like London or Paris might experience winters similar to Moscow. At the same time, tropical regions could become far hotter. Global weather systems would fall into chaos. Storm patterns would shift across the planet. The Atlantic Ocean is home to millions of marine species, from microscopic plankton to giant whales. If the ocean vanished, almost all of this life would disappear instantly. Entire ecosystems would collapse. The ocean also absorbs huge amounts of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Without it, CO2 levels could rise dramatically, which would accelerate global climate change even further. But something unexpected might also happen. A new land corridor would appear between continents. Humans could theoretically travel across the dry Atlantic Basin. Imagine caravans or vehicles crossing a massive valley between North America and Europe. New migration routes could reshape ecosystems. Animals and plants from different continents could mix in ways never seen before. The Atlantic, which once separated worlds, would suddenly connect them. The world's great rivers would behave very differently. The Amazon River would plunge thousands of meters into the empty basin. The Mississippi River would carve a canyon deeper than the Grand Canyon. Water would rush downhill at incredible speed. New waterfalls larger than any on Earth would form along the edges of the basin. Over thousands of years, these rivers would begin filling parts of the Atlantic Valley with massive inland lakes. In reality, the Atlantic cannot simply vanish overnight. But Earth's geology shows that oceans can change dramatically over millions of years. The Atlantic itself formed about 200 million years ago when the supercontinent Pangaea began to break apart. And tectonic forces continue to reshape the planet today. One day, in the distant future, continents may collide again, closing oceans and creating new ones. If the Atlantic Ocean disappeared, the world would become almost unrecognizable. Climate would shift. Ecosystems would collapse. And the map of Earth would change forever. But this thought experiment reveals something fascinating. The oceans we see today are not permanent. They are part of a planet that is constantly evolving. And beneath the waves, there is an entire hidden world we have barely begun to understand.